three people have asked a similar question: Mark Engel, James Morris, and myself. We wanted to ask concerning the presidential candidates' view of Israel. How would you rate them, McCain, Clinton, and Obama, as far as being a friend to Israel if they became president?
Well, it's very interesting, but I cannot recall a presidential election where less time has been spent by any of the presidential candidates discussing this issue. I think there's all kinds of different reasons for that, but none of them have spoken in a way that I've really heard about this issue. All three of them have very good position papers. This is an issue I care very much about. It's why I went on the Foreign Affairs Committee, part of why I went on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the first place. I'm a strong supporter of Israel and the U.S.-Israeli relationship. It gets a great deal of my time. I'm also a supporter, by the way, of a sensible peace process that helps to ensure Israel's long-term security needs. And each of the three candidates has issued, and I've looked at, position papers on the subject, which are quite good. What you never know in this business is what they say in the campaign and what they'll do when they're in the White House. And on this particular issue, the single most important thing is to maintain the high level of congressional support, because they become a brake on what they become a force on what an administration does on this issue. But I feel comfortable that all three of them are deeply committed to Israel. There will be nuances of differences in their policies, but that on the fundamental level of the commitment, all three of these candidates, the two Democrats, and Huckabee's probably good too. I'm assuming McCain has the Republican nomination wrapped up.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, somebody said. After watching the news tonight, maybe you're right.
And a follow-up question for that among this group was the influence of the pro-Israeli lobby on Congress. Does it have a stranglehold on Congress as far as
That's a myth.
That was my question, and it wasn't asked in a proper manner.
What?
I'd asked about the Berman Walt book about the pro-Israel lobby and why you supported the Iraq war was for the Israeli lobby. That was what my question was.
We're giving you the opportunity.
No,
Can I now speak?
You gave my name, but you didn't ask the question.
I understand your question.
Well, why don't you answer it then?
Because shut up.
No, because you're owned by Israel.
No, we're going to talk about it right now. What this gentleman says, and this is a line that I assume he sincerely believes, but it is a total canard, that people like me voted for the authorization of use of force because someone in Israel or some lobby wanted me to vote that way. That's just not true. I can tell you without reservation that the Israelis I know at that time were much more focused on the threat from Iran than they were the threat from Iraq. A huge number of them said, you've got to be careful what you're planning to do here. They saw many pitfalls in this. And the notion that the U.S. Congress is voting because of the Israel lobby, and that whole thesis of the Mersheimer-Walt book, that our whole American foreign policy is constructed, premised on that lobby, is all part of creating. It's going back to the old scapegoat theory. Who do we blame for our problems? It's those people. That was done in Europe many times over, and that same theory is now. One can very much disagree with our policy to Israel without assuming that the only reason we have that policy because it's bought and paid for by some nefarious special interest. So I reject the premise of your question. I reject the thesis of the book. I believe most people in the Congress, and I believe most Americans, think that for a variety of historical and political reasons, and because of the nature of that democracy, and because of the threats that it faces, it is worthy of security, and Israel has never asked Americans to go and fight to protect Israel. They always ask for help, and they always have been in charge of their own defense. So I hear your question, I understand it, and I disagree with you completely.
Howard Tones asks, are you